So we're just on our way to Elkane's. We just got to get some food, and also we've got to do that quick because from 1 o'clock there's a curfew, and so we've got to get home before 1. It's because of the lockdowns. So in Portugal at the moment, we've got lockdown starting from 11 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning during weekdays. And on the weekends, the curfew starts at 1 p.m. So yeah, so from 1 p.m. you're not allowed out. So we've got to quickly buy some food, and more importantly, we've got to get some beer. So we have some exciting news. We've hit 5,000 subscribers. 5,000, which is pretty amazing. We hit our first 1,000 after 11 months. It took us 11 months to hit our first 1,000, and that was on the 7th of May. And now we're in November, which is like 6 months later. It took us another 6 months to get another 4,000 subscribers. So yeah, so things are growing quite nicely on the channel. It's really good to know that people are connecting with our story and our journey, and enjoying watching life on our farm. You know, some days Gina and I sit around and it feels like we're accomplishing nothing and doing nothing, but actually when we look back at what we've done in the last sort of 11 and a half months since we bought the farm, so much has happened. And yeah, it's been awesome that we have been able to document this on YouTube. And it's going to be really nice to look back on this one day and to see exactly what we've accomplished and how far we've come. I need to give everyone an update because the last video that I put out, you guys know that I was sick. So yeah, basically I had some kind of a flu. It lasted from the Thursday to the Sunday, and I had a really bad fever, and yeah, I was pretty miserable with it. But when it passed on the Sunday, I had about 24 hours where I was feeling fine, you know. The fever had passed and all of that, and then after about 24 hours I started getting really bad sort of gastroenteritis and really bad stomach problems. I couldn't keep any food down, and that lasted for another 10 days. So yeah, I was pretty miserable. And after after having 4 days of the flu and then followed by 10 days of gastroenteritis, I was just feeling really run down and really tired. So I've kind of come out the other end now. It kind of came out the other end as well, but I've passed through the other end of it, and yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm still a little bit weak, and you know, lying in bed for all of those days and then not being able to keep any food in. So yeah, I'm coming right now. It's been about 4 days now. I'm eating good again, and I've got my appetite back. And yeah, and today I'm going to get some beers, you know, all important. Bring my strength back. And yeah, so don't worry everyone, I'm fine. Was it coronavirus? To be honest, I don't think it was the coronavirus. The actual flu part of it wasn't so bad. The worst part about it was the gastroenteritis. So, you know, I don't think I've had coronavirus, and to be honest, there's no point in getting tested because, you know, I'm on a farm, I'm completely isolated, and by the time I'm feeling better, the virus is probably no longer in my system. So, you know, there was no point in getting tested. It's been about 2 weeks since I had these flu symptoms, so I am safe to walk around now. You know, I think you're supposed to isolate for about 10 to 14 days, and I've done over 14 days now, so yeah. So that's a little update on what's happening with that. It's Saturday the 21st of November 2020 and it's about 9:30 in the morning. So if you've been following our channel, you know that we've got 2 beehives. You also know that this one over here looks a little bit different. This is called a knuck box, and basically it's a much smaller beehive. And the reason why this one is much smaller is because it was a lot weaker and it was getting attacked by wax moths, so we lost quite a few of the frames. So what we've done is the remaining frames are now in here, and it's a smaller box, which means that there's less area for the bees to have to defend. So this is bee food, and it says here that it's basically complete feed for bees. It's called apipasta, and this is a biological version of it. And yeah, on the top of the hive here there's a hole, and basically you cut a square at the bottom of this bag and the bees can get inside here and they can basically start eating it. And you can see here, this is where all of the bees are congregating around the area where the food was. So this was an empty frame, and as you can see now it's full of bees, and they're starting to store some of the food that we're giving them inside this section here. And they're starting to build out the comb here, that hopefully they're going to use for more food or for more brood or something like that. You can see this side is still quite empty because this was like a new fresh comb. Alright, so this one here is just absolutely full. It's just full of honey and full of brood. This is a really nice frame. So this is all the sort of honey parts up here. All of this area here with the sort of dark cap on it, that's brood. So that's basically little larvae that are in there, and they're going to hatch and become bees. And then this section here is all nice honey. And this is the other side of the frame. You can see there's tons of bees all over it. The queen's probably in there somewhere, and they're building out the frames nicely. They've got lots of honey in storage, and then they've got a lot of brood, which is all the babies, all the larvae inside the comb busy hatching. And then if you look here, another really nice full frame just like that. So here we have another really nice full frame, and you can see the honey on the edges, and in the center is all the brood. That's a really nice looking frame. All of the bees are looking quite healthy. I don't see any deformed wings, and if I have a look, I don't see any of the little red dots, the little mites. And so far we haven't seen any of the wax moths, so it's a really good sign. There's a lovely smell of honey and wood, and that's a really good looking frame as well. This was a brand new frame that we stuck in there because we had to take some frames out of this hive and put them inside this knuck box. And so this was a new frame a couple of weeks ago, and you can see they've really built it out quite well. There's quite a bit of honey in there, and there's a little bit of brood starting as well. And then this frame over here is it's uncapped honey, so there's honey in there, but they haven't actually put a cap on it. It's still quite new. So I think this is probably what they've made from all of the food and some of the pollen of the trees. So now if you can see on my glove here, there's a bee sting. One of the bees was unhappy with me, and so he's put his sting into the glove here, and you can see it pulsating away. And then this is one of the outer frames. So this was also a new frame. There's not really much going on it, but they're sort of building the comb out. And then they will start storing stuff. So you can see on this side they've got a whole bunch of capped honey on there, and yeah, there's a lot of them working on it, so they're obviously preparing it to add food and brood and stuff like that. Mimo's growing really big really fast. She's already got the same length legs as Dog. Now Dog is he's quite a big boy. He's a German Shepherd mixed with a Golden Retriever, and he is about 45 to 50 centimeters high at the shoulder. And Mimo is going to be much bigger. The Cerridiostrella part of her is going to be, I believe, up to 70-75 centimeters high. And the Rafero do Alentejano breed, which is also what she's got a mix of, stands about 65 centimeters tall. So she's definitely going to be bigger than Dog Dog. The chickens are having a good old free range. You can see they're down in the olive grove here. So they've got like 3.5 hectares of space where they can just run around and be chickens. And yeah, the dogs do a really good job of looking after them. And we've only lost one bird to an aerial predator, and that's it. And that was like a tiny chick. So, you know, we don't really have any problems with that. Even though we do have lots of predators. We've got foxes, badgers, Egyptian mongoose, to name a few, wild pig. I'm not sure if wild pig will eat a chicken, but I wouldn't be surprised.